Hello, my name is Zach Murray, and this is my reflection of my e-portfolio. Starting off here, looking at my candidate info, just going through my professional goals. I said professionally in the next 1 to 5 years, I would like to be finished with the program and certified to be a building principal, along with continuing to build a winning culture with Chanute. We have continued to win at a pretty high level here, and actually I just got offered our athletic or activities director job and accepted that job. So it kind of all went way faster than I thought, because on the second deal it said in the next 6 to 10 years I'd like to have transitioned to being an athletic director or possibly an assistant principal. So like I said, this all went really fast, way faster than I thought it was going to. Personal goals, just talked a lot about my kids, and then in the next, hopefully getting another kid, which again, that all happened as well. We've got a 3-month-old who was born early February, so it's been a really, really awesome couple of months here for me. Moving on to my leadership philosophy, right here, just the main points. Just I'm big on leading by example and by being vocal. You can't just put yourself out there by, what you're doing. You've got to tell people what you're doing as well. I think it's important to build relationships. We have to not be too proud to admit that we still have things to learn, and we have to learn from others. We have to have high expectations for ourselves and our staff. And then it's, in my opinion, and this is something I take great pride in coaching, I have to prepare my assistant coaches to eventually take my job, and now that's becoming a reality. So that was my philosophy. My program of study is right here. Just went through and listed all my classes and when I took them. My resume, I did not, as I was filling this out, I'm glad I did now. I did not realize I would be using it as fast as I did. This all happened really quickly, and I'm pretty excited about next year. I'll be in our same district, just a activities director at our high school. So pretty fired up about that. Our annotated bibliography, I did several different topics, just from educational leadership to trauma informed, which is something our district has taken a lot of steps toward, educating our staff and everybody on. And then I did several things on athletic directors, as I obviously am going to be moving into that profession. And then the video that I'm doing right here on the comp exam, which will be loaded up correctly when I submit this to you. And then on the activities portion, my district slideshow, the first one I did was attending a PLC meeting, which is kind of new for me. I did a special education PLC, and it was different because the specials group that I was a part of as a PE teacher did a completely different PLC where we did interventions with students that needed a role model or things along those lines. And so attending a PLC and seeing, the framework was the same, the expectations were the same, the norms, but just what they talk about was just a little different than us, as we are not in our PLC, we're not vertically aligned with PE throughout the whole district. It was PE, music, library, art. And then I used our evaluation process chart that we did to go through for our category 2. Just talked about the steps we go through for our evaluation process. Then my next slide, I went through and sat down with our principals. It would have been last year, and did the master schedule with them, which was just mind-blowing how much goes into that. I was not expecting all that. As a teacher, you're always just like, how hard is this? The schedule should work out for everybody. And then you start looking at all the factors, and I have a much greater respect for the difficulty that takes. Then category 4 here, I was talking about developing family and community partnerships, and we did a Publix chart in one of our classes, internal and external, which I thought fit really well here. And it was specific to our district, so that's something that's going to help me immediately. And then on the ethics and integrity, I did an internet safety assignment in one of our classes. It was just a presentation that kind of understands the digital, or helps people understand digital citizenship, and how important that is, that we equip our students with that knowledge. And then on category 6, I put our tort liability assignment on there, and which was big for our, being an athletic director, or soon to be athletic director. You handle a lot of money, you handle, a lot of situations that come up that could fall under this category. So I was happy that we got to do this assignment. Then I'll move on to my secondary presentation, as that is where I'm going into. The first one, I talked about, it's overseeing a comprehensive building level professional development program. And we all were given this Help for Billy book, and it's a trauma informed book, and it just kind of helps you to understand what these students are going through, and kind of gives you some background to help us deal with them. And then on using technologies for improved classroom instruction, student achievement, and continuous school improvement. It's just talking about Web 2.0 and just basically the assignment, and how technology is so critical in becoming such a huge part of learning, and it's relevant, where that's what students want to do. They want to get their hands on technology, and we need to start figuring out a way to do that. And then again, I thought this was just another way to do this, and especially now I'm happy I did it, as I'll be a part of this process from now on. I went through our CHS master schedule, which was just crazy, because they're not broke up by grade level and stuff. So it was just different doing it by grade level rather than here, where it was more based on subject content area. And then the collaborating with key stakeholders, again, it was just an understanding your community presentation, and it talked about things that are good as kind of a recruiting type assignment. Then this one on the ethics and integrity, I really like this one because I'll be dealing with this quite a bit. Again, and it just talks about moral and legal decisions, and this was just a way to give me more insight on becoming an athletic director, and just making sure I understand money and how to deal with that legally. And then again on this one, I tried to pick assignments that were going to help me with my upcoming job. And this one is the one that I maybe thought was the most helpful, with the activity fund safeguards. And this is just talking about ways to the proper protocol to make sure your money's safe and that you're doing things right and you're taking the proper steps to make sure that you're not getting money taken from you or losing it in any way. Then here on the program reflection, I went through and just, as you guys asked for, just kind of evaluated the process, and just pretty much a summary. I'm extremely happy with how this whole program, or this endorsement program, went. I thought all the assignments, all the content, all the classes were informative, relevant, and now especially, I'm just extremely excited on how prepared I feel as I take this next step into a new job. And whereas last year I didn't think, if you would have told me 1 year from now you'll be accepting a athletic director job, I would have been excited, but also felt overwhelmed because, it's a lot. And right now I do not feel overwhelmed at all. I'm excited. I feel like I know a lot about what to expect. I've developed a lot of relationships in preparation for this. It was a hard decision giving up coaching and teaching, but ultimately I love being around sports. I love watching our students grow and succeed, and this was the best option to continue to do that. And then lastly here, my activity log. This is probably my favorite part as we went through, not logging the hours, but just some of the experiences I got, especially as I shadowed or even some days stood in for a principal. I thought that was excellent, and it was awesome experience because there was a couple days that there was a principal gone and they said, "You're up. You can go through." Obviously I wasn't able to hand out consequences. I'm not suspending people and stuff, but I at least got to see what their days were like, and that kind of put my mind at ease a little bit, even though the days that I stood in were for an elementary school. And I mentioned in one of my other assignments, I actually, after those days, thought being an elementary school principal wouldn't be that bad of a deal. But ultimately it came down to just wanting to still be around sports as much as I can, wanting to be around our high school students and just watching them grow and succeed. But basically I'm just thankful for you guys and this program, and the opportunity now that it has afforded me as I go into a new year with a new job. I'm just really excited, and thank you for all the help and for giving us relevant and classwork that didn't seem like busy work. It seemed like it was teaching us something and giving us legitimate information. So thank you. I appreciate it.